portion of a recreation center second to none, because there is a tremendous health club with a membership of about 1,000. There's an arcade, there's an off-track betting area. Oh boy.
Chris, the action's going to pick up here. You saw how tough Aulby was in the first match. He's a player of the year going against one of the, I think, the toughest opponents in professional bowling, a man who hasn't won in 4 years, Wayne Webb. Could be the match of the season.
And Mike puts first frame pressure on his friend and competitor, 31-year-old Wayne Webb, one of bowling's best, the 1980 PBA Player of the Year, winner of the 1980 Firestone, 16 championships. Look at that style. Well, just like a good boxing match, sparring, punching back, all even after a frame.
What a terrific break Wayne Webb gets. He comes in light in what it looks like he's going to lead the 2-4-5, as we just had in the bowling tip of the week. The head pin comes to the sideboard, chops out the 2-pin, and he's off to a good start. Great break as you see how he got to the championship round. 6 rounds of bowling, 42 games this week. Webb qualified second.
There's the man that had one of the 13 perfect 300 games, along with a pair of 289s. Aulby's high game was 279, but in his last match here on television, Aulby had a 256. Strike up shooting in the second. And Aulby on the right lane leaves the 4-7.
Aulby, if he has any problem with his game today, is he gets a little soft with the ball. He doesn't keep that ball speed up around 17 or 18 miles an hour. That's his ideal speed. When he drops down around 16, kind of aims the ball with that big wide sweeping hook, it drifts high as he's cleaning out his thumb hole. Apparently got a little either oil or lane conditioner in his thumb hole. Wisely looked down and wipes it out. He'll flatten his shot. Watch how he breaks his wrist down in his release point, cuts that hook down to convert to spare.
Mike has been a member of the PBA for 11 years, 14 titles.
See the angle of Aulby from our overhead camera. He's coming in almost from the left side of the lane like a right-handed bowler. Goes across lane, kills it. See, his wrist does not quite break all the way through. Converted that 4-7 spare. Aulby used to have a lot of trouble with left-hand corner spares. Chris, in Paris, France, 1982, he missed 2 7-pins in a championship match with the big hook ball. Immediately made the change in 83. Has been a good spare shooter ever since.
And then a solid 9 if there ever was one.
And a second look from Aulby. Now, you want to see the action of a powerful bowling ball. Watch the action as it cuts through the 1, 2, and then goes through and just chops the 5-pin straight back off the 9. First real bad break that Mike's had so far in the championship round.
The mark is important, of course. Wayne Webb ready to go. And speaking of readiness, anyone, men or women, competing in the Bud Light Ironman Triathlon, you want to not miss that event. It's super. All right, Wayne Webb, 3 in a row. Let's replay a look from the profile.
See the leverage of Wayne Webb. What makes him so good is the word leverage. Watch how he drives through that pivot step. There it is, that right foot. Then plants that left and uses that arm in such a heavy pendulum swing. Snaps that wrist through. And believe me, nobody can throw strikes any better than Wayne Webb. His confidence is a little low, Chris, because he hasn't won in 4 years. But let him get a run at him again. He's as good as they come in professional bowling.
4 in a row for our semifinalists. Wayne Webb, we're in Peoria, nestled on the west bank of the Illinois River. Snow-covered it is. We Aulby made a lot of friends in bowling. This is one of them. Raymond Becker, who owns Landmark Recreation Center. And you know, busy men, successful men are always active in charity. Easter Seals, last year he raised $500,000.
Wow, he's such a wonderful guy hosting the tournament. A lot of good things happening for Ray Becker.
Leaving the 2-4-7. Mike Aulby having his troubles here in his second game.
Aulby, all he has to think about is keeping that speed up. As you see him slide to the foul line, he's almost in the center. See how he turns slightly sideways, which puts a little pull into the ball. The ball breaks sharply high and leaves the 2-4-7. Aulby once again will try to use that kill shot. Break the wrist back, a little extra speed. Avoid the chop.
Remember, his opponent, Wayne Webb, has strung 4 in this, our third match of the afternoon. If you just joined us, Jack Jurek eliminated Del Ballard 268 to 226. And then Aulby, at whom you're looking, defeated Jurek 256 to 192.
Look at how much hook Aulby's playing. Staying on the extreme right side of the lane, he'll slide almost in the center and go way out over the second arrow with a wide swing.
All but the 7.
Didn't quite get the power that Mike wanted to see on that particular shot. One of the drawbacks that Mike had in his early days was he didn't carry the 7-pin very well, and the reason was simple. He used to use a 15-pound bowling ball, and that's fine for amateurs, but it's very difficult to beat the top pros with a 15-pounder. Aulby switched to 16-pounder, 1985, immediate results, player of the year. He needs a little extra power today, though, to keep up with Wayne Webb.
Mike Aulby, who held the money record in '85 of over $201,000, losing it to Brian Voss, who in 1988 went way over the $220,000 earned.
Wayne Webb just snapping up a wrist device. He wants to keep his wrist nice and firm. He used to be a tremendous power player, hooked the ball way too much, has opted for this type of device to cut the hook down. It's worked so far. He has 4 strikes in a row. Semifinal game.
Now, Webb has 5 in a row. In 1980, he predicted he'd be the player of the decade. We asked him, what's happened?
Well, I started out real good in the early 80s. 86, 87, I fell into a slump. Hadn't won for 4 years. I'm starting to bowl a little better now, and just looking forward to the 90s now.
Got married, and he said his wife Travis, who is a former woman pro bowler, coached him too much, and that's the reason he went into a slump. He really would like to win today as his hand slipped a little bit. And there's a beautiful young lady from Texas, Travis, 202 average one time in her career, now just a backer of her husband. Hopes he can get this 6th strike and be halfway to $200,000.
String is broken, leaving a 4-7. Little relief on the face of Travis.
Ball just slips off Wayne's hand a little bit, off his thumb, and you can see it's going to drift high at this point. Doesn't get the kick over on the left side. The 2-pin just doesn't get out and bounce the 4 out. 5 strikes in a row, ends with a spare here in the 6th.
Wayne finishing 2nd overall in the tournament. Tournament leader Amleto Monicelli will be going against the winner of this game. And again up high, 2-4-7.
We saw Aulby string 8 strikes together in the first match. Now, what's he doing differently here in the second match? This is what he is. He's not giving it as much room. He's not staying out real wide. He was hanging right in the channel in the first match, and he's also decreased his ball speed. Sometimes when you have to hook the ball that much, you just kind of lose your trust, and it's so important to keep your eyes on the target, the arrows, and forget about how much hook you're rolling. All
right, as Tammy Aulby looks at the overhead score sheet, and one magnified by the PBA for the hundreds of fans that pack into the establishments. It's a great break for him because it is so magnified that it can be easily read.
And the concern registered on Tammy Aulby's face is from Mike's score. Right now he trails by 46 pins. He still has a chance, though. He must start striking here in the 7th.
And again, leaving single pin, this time a 6.
Projecting a conversion for Mike Aulby here in the 7th frame. If he converts, 221, as Tammy is a little bit concerned, or more than concerned now, because the match is starting to get out of hand. Aulby can still win with a spare here, strikeout for 221. Wayne Webb, who's going at a 238 pace, would just need to fill the frames, but anything can happen.
47 pins separating these two champions. There, on the left, the curator of the National Bowling Museum and Hall of Fame, Bruce Pluckhahn, and John Archibald of St. Louis Post-Dispatch, great bowling writer, both going into halls.
The halls of fame, and both men I've known a long time, as we watch Wayne Webb step up in the 7th frame, a commanding lead.
That's a good break on the 7 pin, shooting in the 7th frame, 158 through 6.
Wayne Webb just shows his power. The ball enters the 1-3 pocket. Very little deflection. Now see, here's the key pin. It hits that 5 pin. The 5 drives over in the 4-7 zone and forces the 4 back into the 7. Just tumbles them together, just like they used to do in the old shellac days. Guys like Ned Day, Joe Norris used to throw that 5 pin over there like that.
And it's a 10 pin on the left lane for this man who has just taken the gadget wrist brace off.
He's not getting enough power in the ball, and he knows it. That ball looks good. He's getting some strikes, but it's not rolling the way Wayne Webb's ball should normally roll. Travis just rooting for a victory, hoping that she isn't the jinx that slowed her husband down.
Mike last winning in North Olmsted, Ohio a year ago. Finished high in the Firestone again. But he needs confidence after taking a 2.5-month layoff last summer.
Aulby, professional, knows all the moves, but look what has happened to him on this even framed lane. In the 4th frame, he left the 2-4-7, the 6th frame, the 2-4-7, and here in the 8th, with one additional move with his feet, trying to give the ball more room, he leaves the 2 and 4 pins. It looks like the only adjustment that would have really worked for Mike in this juncture would have been to go with a lot more speed, and that's just not his nature. As soon as he develops that speed control a little bit better, he will be back as one of the premier players in all of our sport.
I mentioned the charity event in Long Island he was flying to tomorrow. It's for big brothers and big sisters, totaling last year, out of the $23 million Bo raised for charity through bowling, $9 million went to the big brothers and big sisters.
And we saw that little feature where we had all the stars in there. Lynn Swan, as we mentioned before, is very active with big brothers and big sisters, and he loves his bowling. Now, here's Aulby with a chance for 209 with 4 strikes.
So he's getting all the bad breaks.
Let's just look at Aulby as he goes through the motions here. He's going to slide about the center of the lane, the 20th board, send it out around the 2nd arrow. Now, you'd think that's enough room, but not with the just medium speed that Mike is using. Mike's going down there 16, 17 miles an hour. The players that are doing well today are up near 20 because the lane's hooked so much.
Nope. It's been opened in the 9th. That makes Wayne Webb the winner of the semifinal game, and he has earned the opportunity to go for the title against the tournament leader, Amleto Monicelli. Wayne Webb winning his first match. Now